Well, tubers, two bets, and of course the colorful collection of crazy people. A month or two ago, I was pleasantly surprised when I was contacted by a service that I've been using out here for a number of years, known as JRC Visa Consultancy. And they asked me if I'd like to come down and perhaps talk to them about doing a video with them. And I receive, as other YouTubers receive, a lot of invitations to do what's called affiliate marketing. And I've always declined that because I don't believe in promoting or endorsing something that I don't, A, use myself, and two, totally trust and believe in. So when they contacted me, they were the only ones and the first ones that I said, yeah, sure, I'll come down and chat with you. And so we made an appointment, and I thought I was going down to meet the manager of the store to discuss doing a video at some point in the future. Unbeknownst to me, JR, the owner and CEO of the company, had driven down from Cebu to also take part in the meeting. And while we were together, we decided we'd make a video. Now, I think it's going to be very, very useful for you because when it comes to visas and immigration and the different types and the rules and the regulations and the forms, I am a total dummy. I have been since day one, and I still am 6 years later. So it was refreshing to have the opportunity to have somebody that really knows what he's talking about be on the channel and therefore talk to you. And so the video was very impromptu. I did not know he was going to be there, and I did not know we were going to do a video, but we managed to pull it off. The only thing that I will let you know is there's some ambient noise in the background because we did it in his office during business hours, and there were people walking in and out. So that might be in the background a little bit, but I don't think it was a video killer. So he's going to talk to you about tourist visas, 13A visas, and SRRV visas, which are probably the most common visas out here, and the ones that people ask me personally, hey, what about this, what about that? And I usually have to reply, I don't really know. So I feel fortunate that JR was there, that I happened to have my equipment with me, and so without further ado, let's talk to JR about tourist, 13A, and SRRV visas. Coming right up. Okay, so I am here with JR of JRC Visa Consulting here in beautiful downtown Dumaguete. JR, thanks for coming on the channel, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, for having me here.
My pleasure. So we're going to talk a little bit about visas. And the most common one, the one that I've been on forever, it seems, is a tourist visa. Can you explain to the folks what a tourist visa is, how long it lasts for, how you get it, and sort of the process of the tourist visa?
Okay, regarding the tourist visa, is actually a temporary visa in the Philippines, is what they call also TVV. So that's temporary visitors visa. So technically, it's a visa for visitors only, which is commonly understood. For the tourist visa, there are two classifications that you can actually take into for the Philippine immigration setup. One is for those who are actually non-visa required, which is under the EO 408 classification. So there's a list of countries that will not be required to have a visa upon entry to the Philippines.
Okay.
One of those is Americans. There are also UK, Australians, and the list goes on. So what they can do is actually they can go to the country. They are not required for a visa. So upon entry, they will be given a visa waiver for 30 days.
Okay.
And that waiver can be extended up until 36 months.
Okay.
So the 36 months will be starting from the date of arrival for that non-visa required national. Now, on the other side, there's also what we call a visa required national, such as a common example with that with Chinese and Indians.
Okay.
So they cannot go or they cannot enter the Philippines without acquiring a Philippine visa. and their maximum stay will be up only 24 months or 2 years.
Understood.
So that's basically the basic about the tourist visa here in the Philippine immigration laws or procedures in the Philippines. So segregated into two major parts, the non-visa required and the visa required national.
Now, you're given 30 days when you first get here.
Yes.
I've heard rumors that that's being changed to 60 days. Is that true or not true?
That is still on the pipeline. That is under one of the provisions for the modernization of the Philippine immigration, but still subject for the evaluation from the lower house and the upper house in the Philippines. And as of now, it will not be like it will not be appropriate for us to speculate on that. But forming part of the provision, there might be changes to make it better.
I love the fact that you don't want to speculate.
Yes.
Because one thing gets out and something's, to have legislation proposed
Yes.
is one thing. And it's totally different to have it signed and passed.
True.
Right now, it's a discussion.
Yes.
So to be clear, you are good for 30 days. Now, someone wants to stay longer. They come to immigration and they can extend that visa for how long?
Okay.
First time.
Okay, for the first extension, after upon arrival, you'll be given a visa waiver for 30 days. Now, the immigration or the Philippine immigration will only allow you for your first extension for 29 days. Only 29 days. Now, after the first extension, then you can actually extend for the second extension, in which you have the option already to have 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months, depending on the length of your stay here in the Philippines.
Understood. And that can continue out for 3 years.
Yes, 36 months or 24 months, depending on the nationality.
All right. Well, let's just go with an American.
Yes.
Okay? And I've hit my 36 months. What do I do?
Okay. Once you hit
I want to stay here, but what do I do?
Okay, once you hit your 36 months, you have two options on the table. It's either you leave the country and come back here to have your 36 months renewed, or you're going to apply for a permanent residency here in the Philippines, in which I think most commonly availed right now is the 13A or the spousal visa and the retirement visa per se.
Okay. We'll get into those two in a minute. But if I leave the country, how long do I need to be gone for?
Okay. That is actually a gray area because there is what we call a visa run that is being practiced right now. 24 hours as long as you have your exit and entry of another of your country of destination, that is somehow valid. Because to be honest with you, that is a gray area for now. And I think that would be also beneficial for both parties, the Philippine government and also for those Americans going to the Philippines, because economically, the Americans have been contributing to the economy of the Philippines.
Sure.
And also, the Philippines is also giving a very good and flexible terms in terms of attracting tourists to come to the Philippines instead of other Asian countries.
It's a win-win.
Yes, it is.
So if I hit my wall, if I hit that 3-year mark, and I go, say, to Singapore, okay, and I just spend the night, and then the 24 hours passes, I can get on a plane, come back to the Philippines, and that'll satisfy the requirements?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because we have been actually encountering those foreign nationals who have done that before and during this time that is actually opening up for the international travel.
But obviously, the longer the better.
Yes.
So if you were to stay for 2, 3, 4 days in Singapore, Hong Kong, wherever you go, then it looks a little bit more legitimate.
Yes.
And you come back in, and it would be less questionable. With
Sure.
and a lot of it depends on the officer that you're talking to. Which you've experienced yourself recently, which is kind of refreshing for some weird reason. I took great pleasure. He says, I had a hard time coming back into the Philippines. I said,
Look at my
good.
smile.
Misery loves company. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Okay, and what about an exit clearance? What's that all about?
Exit clearance is normally a clearance that is being required by the Bureau of Immigration for those who are actually on tourist and have stayed on tourist visa that have stayed actually for more than 6 months in the country.
Okay.
Is that okay? Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you've been here, I've been here for up to 6 months. Before I leave, I need to get an exit clearance.
Yes, you need to.
Now,
You are required.
An exit clearance where you really are handy, for lack of a better word, is you can get me an exit clearance.
Yes, definitely we can.
But I can't walk next door to immigration and get an exit clearance. I have to go to Cebu to get an exit clearance.
Okay.
So by using JRC, it eliminates me having to take a trip to Cebu.
Yes.
I have to go to one of the malls there. I went to J Mall. Actually, my wife, then girlfriend, my first exit clearance when I was going to, I think, Vietnam, we got reined in, and it ended up costing us like $300 or $400 because we had to get a hotel room.
Sure.
We couldn't get a bus back. We got stuck in Cebu, and then we finally got back here. Where here we can pay a few dollars.
Yes.
And you'll process the exit clearance for us. And you can have that done within how much time? How much notice do you need?
It should be at least 3 to 4 weeks before your scheduled flight.
Okay.
That would be the safest because the processing time will be approximately around a week. Because let me expound it a little bit.
Please
because,
do.
Further to identify or to understand the structure of the Bureau of Immigration, what is the type of office that is located now in Dumaguete is what we call the field office. Okay? Now, in Cebu, that is a district office. So by per se, Cebu Immigration Office is bigger than the field office in Dumaguete. So they have also limits in terms of what transactions can be processed. So the district office in Cebu can process the ECC while the field office in Dumaguete cannot.
Gotcha.
Okay, that is where we come into play.
Right.
You go to our office, we will be the one actually bringing the documents to Cebu, and they will actually be processing in Cebu.
And so here's the word to the wise, is to not wait till the last minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
In other words, don't let it go all the way to 6 months or 5 months and you've got 2 or 3 days of wiggle room. It's not going to be enough time.
Yes.
You need to come in here about 30 days, about 5 months, and say, sir, I need an exit clearance.
Yes.
That way you're covered. That will go to Cebu or Manila, wherever you send it. It will come back here. I'll have it in my possession, and now I'm good to get out of the country.
Yes.
Because I've been now over the 6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, there's also one thing that I can add is for foreigners who have actually been downgraded from any visas issued by the Bureau of Immigration, going back to tourists, you're also required to have or to obtain the exit clearance prior exit to the country. So that is the second instance that the ECC will be required as well.
Okay. And the exit clearance, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it is something where they do your fingerprints.
Yes.
And they're pretty much doing like a background check on you, making sure that you've been a good visitor.
Yes.
You haven't broken any laws, you haven't been arrested, you haven't committed any crimes.
Yeah.
And that gives you the clearance to get out of the country.
Correct.
Okay, good enough. Let's move forward. A 13A. What is that?
Okay. A 13A is basically one of the many terms or terminologies, but basically to simplify things, it is a marriage visa in the Philippines. The 13A is applicable to EO408. That's what we actually mentioned earlier. So, and also there are also other terminologies for spousal. For Indians, that would be TRV.
Okay.
And for Chinese, that would be MCL.
Okay.
But common denominator, they're all by virtue of marriage.
Okay.
Now let's talk about 13A because it's applicable to you,
Yes.
Americans.
And this is all about me.
Yeah. So the 13A actually is a visa being granted to a foreign national by virtue of a marriage to a Filipino citizen.
Okay.
So once you have that, then that particular foreign national will be eligible or will be qualified to apply for that 13A spousal visa.
Okay.
Now, the 13A spousal visa, the major requirement for that is the PSA marriage certificate. That is the one of the major requirement because that is a proof of your marriage to a Filipino citizen.
Correct. And am I correct in that the wife actually applies for the 13A?
Since it is a marriage, both of you will apply.
Right.
Okay, there are two parties
Well,
now
I
involved.
can't come in here by myself without my wife.
Yes, sure.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, because she has to invite me to stay. Because what if we had dissolved or broken up, or if she passed away?
Sure.
I would no longer be entitled to that 13A.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
Just want to be clear on that. Now, what additional, do I get any additional rights or privileges by having a 13A as opposed to a tourist visa?
Okay. One of the major privileges that you'll have is your permanent residency.
Okay.
Now, if you opted to set up a company here and do something to make you busy on your retirement, you will now be exempted to obtain the alien employment permit because of that visa.
Okay.
Other visas, they will require you to have that alien employment permit from the Labor Department here in the Philippines.
Understood. So would I would have the right to work,
Yes.
but I would not have the right to take a job away from a Filipina.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
But if I wanted to start a restaurant,
Yes.
or if I wanted to create some sort of form of income that was not detrimental to the employment of a local.
Yes,
In other
true.
words, I cannot take away one of the ladies that work here. I
Yes.
couldn't have her job.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't want me anyway.
Who knows?
Trust me. Okay. You see me in paperwork?
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack will do.
Yeah. Got the Jack Daniels over here. Okay, so, and then I guess the other most popular visa that gets touted about and spoken about a lot is what's called an SRRV.
Correct.
Can you kind of explain to everybody what an SRRV visa is?
Okay, the SRRV is a Special Residence Retirees Visa under the Philippine Retirement Authority, under the mandate of the Department of Tourism in the Philippines. Now, their objective is to attract more tourists to reside and relocate here in the Philippines. Now, this is a special visa.
Okay.
Okay, it is being endorsed from the retirement office to the Bureau of Immigration for approval of the visa, since the immigration office is the only government office that can approve, disapprove any visa application. So that's why it's categorized as special visa.
Okay.
Now that special visa is also coming up with benefits. Like if you go here with a dependent spouse, you can also have that together with your application. If you have also a dependent children below 21 years old, they can also be with you during that application, and they will be exempted to get the student visa.
Awesome.
That's one of the benefits. Aside from the multiple entry privileges, it also exempts you from the ACRI card since it is a special visa.
Okay.
Because any visa issued by the Bureau of Immigration comes with an ACRI card.
Let's expand on that a little bit. All right, because
I hope I was not able to mention that then.
you're not getting away from me. ACI card.
Yes.
Please explain what that is.
Okay. By layman's term, the ACRI card is an identification of your visa here in the Philippines.
Right.
It will serve as a counter check or check and balance with your documents or your visa being stamped on your passport. So, if that should goes well and complement together, because there are cases here in the Philippines that they have their visa and they don't have their ACR. It happened. But that will not complete the entire process, because the end product of your visa application is your visa stamp on your passport.
Yes.
And your ACRI card.
And how long do you have to be in the country before you qualify for that card?
It depends. If you're going back to tourist a little bit,
Yes.
it will be required on your second extension,
On your
which
second
will
extension.
be on your 59-day stay here in the Philippines.
That's when you would apply for and get.
The term might be required to pay.
Okay. Yeah, you do pay for that.
Yes.
Now, I found that to be very, very valuable to me when I first got it.
Good.
Because guess what I wanted to do? I wanted to open a bank account.
Nice.
And they needed 2 forms of identification. Well, all I had was my California driver's license or my Nevada driver's license. I had my passport, but I didn't have any other ID.
True.
And so now with the iCard, I have an ID, and then I have a passport, and I can get a postal ID or anything such as that nature also. But that also, it was instrumental in me opening up a bank account here.
Good.
So I don't know if you were aware of that or not, but it is one of those things that just was a little kicker that made my life simpler here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that will serve as your local identification.
Correct.
Here in the Philippines, especially on your tourist visa. Now, going back to your bank account, the bank account, actually the bank before accept the ACRI card on tourists, but now really, because that is actually an outstanding mandate before of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, that all foreigners are required to have an ACRI card, which is on permanent visa. And now they're calling. And they're checking on foreigners right now that, hey, you still have the tourist ACR, you need to submit the permanent ACRI card. So that is something that your subscribers can take a look at into.
Okay.
And probably if they will actually need some help, we will be helping them out.
And you can help all forms of people because different folks have different qualifications.
Exactly.
For example, the SRRV, if you're military,
Yes.
there's a different standard as far as deposits of money.
Yes, true.
If you're non-military, and some of that money can be used towards the purchase of a condominium.
True.
So do you want to expand upon that a little bit?
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Talking now to going back to the retirement visa. The retirement visa comes in 4 or 5 categories, but there are 2 commonly used now, or 3. The standard one is the classic category, which will require a certain age qualification, 50 years old for now.
Okay.
Okay. And then once you don't have any pension and any government or military service, your base deposit or band or visa deposit will be around 20,000 US.
20,000.
Yes.
I thought it was 10.
We'll go to 10.
Okay. All right.
Now, that's the first financial consideration of the visa.
Okay.
First is the 20,000 US classic. Now, there's also what we call classic with pension. Meaning, if a certain individual or foreign national can present a proof of pension, at least a lifetime pension, that a proof that he is already eligible or receiving a lifetime pension of at least 800 USD, and I think the Social Security can suffice that, then it will be from 20,000, it will be lowered down to 10,000. That is where the 10,000 comes into play.
Okay. All right.
Now, we're talking about the visa deposit. We'll be talking more on the financial consideration.
Okay.
Okay, next to that would be the expanded courtesy. The expanded courtesy are those 50 years old and above and have served the U.S. military and can provide the DD-214 and then have a pension of at least 1,000 USD.
Okay.
Now, from 2010 to 1,500.
Good.
So that's a very good proposition here.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's the first tranche of the financial requirement of that retirement visa.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the one-time application fee.
Yes.
The one-time application fee comes also with an annual fee or the ID fee. The one-time application fee for the for the classic category is 1,400 plus 360.
Okay.
That's the annual fee. For the classic with pension, that would be 1,400 and 360.
Okay.
The 360 will be paid annually.
Okay.
Now, for the expanded courtesy, that would be 1,400, one-time application fee, and the recurring fee would be $10.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we always pre-qualify for those people who are actually like, JR, I wanted to have the retirement visa. Okay, what are your qualifications? Are you this and that and that? Then we'll actually suggest, put the option on the table. Okay, you qualify for here. This will be a good proposition for you.
Okay. Now, I know why you have become so popular.
Thank you.
Okay. But I'm not going to tell them.
I already said my thank you. Now, please do.
I'm going to let you brag a little bit. Okay. What is it, JR, that puts you apart from just going into immigration. What do you do for me? Now I could go next door to immigration, okay, and do all this stuff that we're talking about. But I really prefer coming in here. I pay a little service charge to you for covering this for me. What do you think your biggest asset is for someone like me that does not want to stand in line forever? And what does your service do for folks? What's your biggest asset for someone walking through the door?
Convenience and assurance.
Okay.
Convenience because we do things for you on your behalf. We represent you in dealing with these government offices here in the Philippines. Mind you, been traveling also, and I think we have discussed this also
Yes.
earlier. And sharing my experiences also. It's if I'm putting myself as a foreigner in this country, and I have a different orientation, it will be very hard for me to understand.
Right.
That is where we come into play.
Right.
And that convenience is connoted with the service.
All right, so I'm going to brag on it a little bit here. And no disrespect at all to immigration whatsoever, but when I go over to immigration, when I used to just use the immigration service, the forms that they would give you were very, very difficult to read, very faded. Usually you didn't have a pen. It was complicated to try to understand. I'm used to feet and inches. They want meters and kilograms and all that. It was just confusing. And the staff was overworked, underpaid, I'm assuming. And they're dealing with foreigners, and a lot of us foreigners, or a few of us foreigners, I should rephrase, have some bad attitudes.
Not all.
Not all.
Not all.
Well, we've always got a ringer in there now and then, and they tend to get a little loud, a little boisterous, a little abusive, and there's actually a sign up there that's saying that we can kick you out at any time. So over here, your staff will just take the paperwork, fill it out for me. All right, I don't have to do anything but sit back and relax, answer questions. I pay a little surcharge over and above what I would normally pay at immigration, and then you take care of it. When it's done, I receive a text from you. Come by, pick up your passport, and that's that.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So that's one of the thing that we actually we really wanted to give assistance or help with our foreign friends coming over to the country. Convenience.
Yes.
And that connotes with our service also. And I always remind the team for that.
Yes.
Okay, we are here to let them understand what is the Philippines all about, and we should do the best that we can to help them out.
And you know what? The staff is extremely good as far as their English ability. So it's less stressful for me just to try to communicate with your staff as it is. Again, no disrespect, but next door at immigration, there is some roadblocks there as far as understanding. And you do take the pressure off. You do take the stress away. The office is air conditioned. It's got free bottled water, snacks, whiskey if you're really having a bad day.
Jack Daniels. We have a 3-liter Jack here. So come and visit. We'll be having our
just come on in and get tuned
here.
up for nothing. Well, why don't you tell them where you're located, and we'll wrap it up for this session.
Okay, before that, I will go for the next word, assurance.
Okay, assurance.
Because that is very important. We have our accreditation with the Bureau of Immigration that is renewed every year.
Okay.
We have also our separate accreditation with the Retirement Office that is renewed every year. We have our accreditation also with the Labor Department that's also renewed every year. Now, why is assurance is very important? It is very important to let you know that we are not a fly-by-night company.
Yeah.
We are not here to scam you.
Right.
There might be roadblocks along the way, but our intention is to really help you out.
Right.
That's it. Plain and simple.
Right. I love the fact that you brought that up because there are fly-by-night
There are.
operations that come, and unfortunately will take advantage of a foreigner making promises that they never intend to keep. But you are licensed, you're bonded, every
Yes.
year you go through the
process. Yes.
and you're accountable.
Yes, that's
Okay. And if I have an issue with you, then I have recourse. I have people that I can
Yes.
call or complain to or whatever. But I'm assuming that you will do everything within your
course.
power to keep it from getting to that level.
Yes, of course.
Awesome.
Because
Well,
it is also good to think that in fairness and with giving due respect to the Bureau of Immigration, the Retirement Office, and the Labor Department, we are not in competition with them. We are actually their ambassadors
yes.
to make it more, or to support them, to make it more easier for our foreign friends to come here and understand what are the things that need to be done, what are the procedures, and so on and so forth.
And is the Philippines, we'll end it on this. Are they grateful for the foreigners that come over here and spend their money and support the economy and possibly employ Filipinos?
Yes,
Do the Filipinos like the foreigners coming over here?
definitely yes.
Yeah. And
Because,
it's being encouraged by the Department of
yes.
Tourism. Does it not help the economy?
It is.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
One of the major contributor right now of the economic drive of the Philippines is the tourism industry.
Is it?
In which our current tourism secretary is from Cebu, and which happened to be the daughter of our governor also there. And we have a close actually conversation. And I see that the drive to regain back the tourism influx in the Philippines, they are actually pushing it hard right now to go back to the pre-COVID level.
Yeah.
So they're really pushing it hard, despite of
Yes.
the issues that they have been through, the roadblocks and so. But I see that next to BPO, real estate maybe, or any other industry, but among the top 5, tourism is there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me down. It was a pleasure to have you on the channel. Hopefully you guys got some good information and can use it. If you have any questions, I'm going to put a link to JRC, phone number, contact information, email. I imagine we've got all that available.
Yeah.
And that way you guys, if you're in the States or any other country and you have any questions, feel free to email and reach out. And if you're here in town, now you know where they're located.
Yeah.
All right.
Paul, thank you so much for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for inviting me down.
Yeah.
We will see you people in the next video.
Yeah. We'll be having JD now. Yeah. Bye-bye.